There are two types of people in this world, those who wait for things to happen and those who make it happen.
Here at the Moose Lounge Podcast, that's who we like to have on. The ones who are sick of the 9 to 5 and want to do what they love and feel alive.
We like to find out what they do, how they did it, and what they're doing to keep it going and stay relevant.
Don't think we're just some boring, predictable interview podcast. We do so while drinking America's only native spirit, bourbon.
So sit back,
grab a glass,
and enjoy
while you listen to us interview individuals who have turned passions into careers. Available bi-weekly everywhere you get your podcast.
Booyah.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Mike.
I'm Tabby.
And we're the Grace Taproom Podcast.
We are a comedy podcast that discusses pop culture. We talk movies, TV shows, music, sci-fi, horror, just to name a few things.
Be sure to visit our link tree at linktr.ee/Grace Taproom Podcast 2. There you can find all of our listening platforms, our socials, and our merch store.
And if you can't get enough of our regular show, then go subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Grace Taproom Pod. There you can choose one of our 4 monthly tiers, $1, $3, $5, and $10.
We hope you enjoy this episode. Yep, the one you're listening to right now.
Remember, don't text and drive, don't drink and drive, and always drink responsibly.
You heard her. Do it.
Taproom closed.
Are you tired of conversations being guided by the loudest voices in the room? Are you tired of people being nice because they're afraid of the consequences if they're actually honest? Are you tired of people that are so afraid of saying what is actually going on that they completely neglect the truth? Well, if that's the case, and you want to hear something that makes you go, you know, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I'm afraid to say it, come check out I Had to Say It, the podcast. Available wherever you get your podcasts fix or at IHadToSayItPodcast.com.
Nope, always 2 fingers. She's a 2-finger. The constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens, minding their own business, just wanting to protect themselves and their property. She wants to give the police the authority, as she puts it in her words, the authority to just arrest these people.
And she made it clear in that statement that maybe those law-abiding citizens need to be arrested also. Stop shaming people for wanting to put toys in their ass.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday night, September 9th, 7:41. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast, your news source for all the narratives and bullshit that's going on during the week, where Fitz and I take it as the big ball of clay that it is, and then we separate it out into beautiful little figures that explain, or at least smaller piles of shit for you, our listeners, the ones we love. Hi, Fitz. What's going on, man?
What's up? When you said big ball, I just thought, here we go. Let's do it. Let's just talk about big balls. Let's just start the show off with big balls. Because, these days you got to have big balls just to get out of bed in the morning. I'll be honest with you, dude. I wake up very early. It's still dark out. I look at my phone to turn my alarm off, and then I open it up, and I go through this moment where I'm like, do I even want to check in with X right now? Do I even want to open up YouTube? Do I even want to? And most mornings I don't. Like, I just need like a half an hour to just settle into the morning, wake my ass up, and then I'm finally ready to digest whatever bullshit they're trying to feed us. It's a real mountain to climb every morning because, God, there's some weird shit going on. So anyway, I'm jazzed for the show. I had a unbelievably busy week, probably 54 hours of work, but it was great. And now we're here at the show, and let's do it.
All right. Well, we've got a jam-packed show for you. We're going to try and keep it tight tonight and not linger too much. I think we decided that during the week. Well, It was rough because like the polls that we had last week were major stories.
Yeah.
And we had so many people like chimed in on it. It was fantastic. That it was a lot to get through. But we have a ton this week to get through. And I see we've got Joe listening on chat and our Patreon. We also have Elle, and I think our newest member, Buttercup, has joined us.
Hi, Buttercup.
Thank you. Please drive safe. We will try not to. We'll try to be really boring until you get to whatever location, so you don't, get too excited or laughing
speak
attack.
For yourself. Speak for yourself.
All right.
I'm never boring.
All right. No, that's very fucking true. All right. So looking at the doc, we've got stuff. Elon got bitch slapped around a lot this week, but he actually came out on top. It looks like. So we got to get into some of the stuff that he got into.
Yeah, he came out swinging. He took some, but he dealt some out too. That's going to be fun to get into.
Yep. And New Mexico's the governor of New Mexico said, "Fuck the Constitution. We're just going to throw that shit out." So that was nice.
What was her name? Hitler something?
Pol Pot. Pol Pot. Yes.
Oh,
that's
sorry, I mispronounced it.
Yep. Obama came out this week. Very strange. Well, no, I'm sorry. Somebody else outed him in a big way.
Yeah, right.
Did you watch the interview? Because we're going to get into it. I watched awkward interview.
It was awkward. The gentleman is awkward.
Yes.
Yes. But Tucker, once again, I hate to say it, but Tucker, he knocked it out of the park. He did a great job keeping him, on task and asking good questions. So yeah, let's get into that too. It'll be good.
All right. Well, we've got a ton more. As you can see, we've got a page and a half of stories to go through. And like we always do, we're just going to see where it goes. But first off, we've got to get into the beers. So Fitz, what do you got?
Right. Beer. Hey, I went with a, sort of, this is a brewery that I'm beginning to just trust almost implicitly. This is from Untitled Art. They always have good stuff. Once again, the art that they put on the can is just, I don't know. It's ethereal. It's sort of out there. It's kind of funky, but it also has some really warm. Anyway, so I try not to judge a beer by its cover, but this one I definitely picked up because of the cover, and then I read what it is. So this is their chocolate peanut butter cookie pastry stout. Now, this is obviously a dessert beer. However, it's only an 8%er. So I'm actually going into this one hoping to just enjoy the flavors. I mean, the peanut butter cookie part.
And is that the name of it? Chocolate peanut butter cookie
pastry stout.
Pastry stout? That's okay.
Yeah, that's the name of it. That's how they title all their beers.
Okay.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast. So anyway, let's give it a day in court. I'll tell you, I poured it, and it if I didn't know any better, if someone was pouring this behind me, I'd be like, oh, who's making peanut butter cookies? Because that's exactly what it smells like. So
interesting. All right. You guys can go to drinkuntitled.com to check them out.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me with a peanut butter cookie. Oh, man, that's... So I don't tend to like my beers too sweet. And this one is sweet, but it really works for this beer. There's enough stout there. I mean, it's a beer up front. It's actually fizzier than the mouth feels very light, very, very carbonated. Not much head, but just kind of, it's one of those beers, kind of like some of the porters that you get where as soon as they hit your tongue, they just kind of fizz up. So that's the mouthfeel of this, but then it's just straight up fucking peanut butter cookie. And the peanut butter cookie, I don't know how your mom used to make them or grandma or whoever, but my mom would sprinkle a little bit of extra sugar on top before she threw it in the oven. So you kind of got that sugary sweet. That's this beer. It's exactly what it is. It's a peanut butter cookie in a glass.
When she made peanut butter cookies, did she do the fork across the top for lines?
Nope. Always two fingers. She's a two finger person. I've had ones with the fork impression, but no,
Okay.
my mom was. Sounds really weird to say, but
she just used two fingers.
She's a two finger. Yeah, she's a two finger lady. Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. Well, some are 2, some are 3. It's all about the baker.
I mean, whatever blows your hair back, I guess. So anyway, so far, wonderful experience with this beer. We'll see how it adjusts and ages as it warms up. But right now, I'm really loving it. So how about you? What do you got?
So I went with one. This is a pale ale. I got to go kind of light tonight. I'm not doing my usual heavy beast kind of a beers. I haven't been in the mood. It's been a long fucking week.
Yeah.
I got too much going on. Somebody in the hospital. I'm on call this week, and I just got too much going on. So I'm keeping a little on the light side. But I went with a pale ale. Now, this pale ale is from Simple Machine Brewing. Local beer. I haven't had a bad Simple Machine yet, and I've had a few on the show.
No, love those guys. Yeah.
But this is Black Raz Pale Ale. This is their Saguaro State Series. It's intriguing because I'm hoping that they take the lightness of a pale ale and they fruited it up a little bit.
Yeah.
When I poured it, it definitely had some fruit tones to it. It definitely had. It was. You do get a little bit of you get more of a raspberry than I think you get a blackberry.
Okay.
But I can already tell this. I've talked about how some beers just hold the cold better, and you get a cold mouth feel, and it's just the right beer to have. It's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 5.7. That is a fruited pale ale. You get the pale ale at the front, the bitterness, and the bite.
Yeah.
And it has a fruity closing. Yeah, that is good. I would buy multiple 4-packs of that to keep around.
Well, that says a lot, because sometimes you get those pale ales and you're like, I'll get through this one, but wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I'm not a pale ale guy, so
yeah.
All right. Well, that's a nice way to start things off.
Yeah, I think we're both happy campers here. That's a great way to start.
Fitz, let's see here. We got
a lot to get to and to get through. But should we start with our poll?
Yes, we should definitely start with our polls. Meaning, we threw out some polls for everybody to kind of join us on. We want to get some opinions. It's going to be one of those nights. It's going to be one of those nights. Everything's going to be a double entendre. We're going to be us. I guess that's what I'm saying.
There you go.
And I'm at home too. I'm at home recording, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice to have you back in a solid in your actual, your digs. Last week was a great show, but you did not have favorable circumstances to record on. So
no, but it was funny though because the place where I was staying, they could hear me downstairs talking, so that was nice when I had to come downstairs and explain a few things. So that was good. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
that's
good stuff. Yeah.
All right. So we put out one poll this week because there's been a lot of talk. It seems like it's getting a little bit hotter under the collar for Biden, Sleepy Joe. He seems to be getting more and more lethargic. He had a Medal of Honor? No, was it Medal of Honor or was it President's Ceremony or something? Which one was it this week?
Yeah, he was giving out military honors. I mean, I don't know if they were all Medal of Honors necessarily, but
I know the one that he gave out was a Medal of Honor. 81-year-old individual, hero.
Yeah.
He puts the medal over his head, onto his neck, and lays it on him, then just fucking walks off stage.
Yep, I'm out.
So he's doing more and more of this shit. It's just it's weird. It's like they're letting him go. The hands are off the wheel. Just go do whatever you're gonna do, you weirdo. So one of the things that also came out, and I can't remember if this was The Hill or it might have been The Hill or the New York Post, one of the two. The story came out that she is ready to go. Kamala Harris. She is ready to be the president of the United States if she has to step in. It was odd. It came at a time after Sleepy Joe decided to, he's had a lot more, there's been many more issues, especially what happened in Maui a few weeks back. So it seemed like she was kind of claiming her spot.
Yeah, and it was also odd that, because I think the title of the article was something like, that was the next story. Never mind. I'm gonna stop myself there because it got weirder. But yes, so Kamala Ding Dong comes out and is like, I'm ready to step up if needed.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went ahead and put a poll out. Would Kamala Harris get your vote for president if Biden does not run? Simple poll. Yes, 14.7%. No, 85.3%. That's 109 votes. So pretty clear where our listener base is on that subject. So that's a no doubter, I think.
Yeah, it was interesting though that 14.7%. That there's. I mean, I'm surprised she got any votes. I mean, have you heard her speak? Have you heard her try and form a cognizant thought? Because if you have, I mean, unless what you're looking for in a president is somebody who is just going to just smile and nod, and then we can make all the decisions for that person.
Yeah.
Then I think Kamala's perfect. And so is Biden, for that matter. I mean, they're both stooges.
Oh, they absolutely are. They're the absolute. They're the absolute. Just they're puppets. That's all they are. Yeah. We did get a lot of. Feedback though from this one. A lot of people were just really surprised that anybody voted yes. That was one thing. Yeah. But John at John Evolves, thanks for the feedback, John. If necessary, Nikki Haley or Gavin Newsom would get my vote over Biden. Harris is not up to the task, which, okay, I get it. But what I wanted to understand was why Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, why that turd?
And I don't think I actually got an answer. And I don't care who you want to vote for, honestly, just make an informed opinion. I'm never going to vote for Newsom, but we've talked about why. Because Biden is too old and Harris isn't up for the job. I've met Newsom a couple times, did not detect lizard people vibes. I'd like to see an actual debate. Robert's Rule of Order, etc., between Newsom and Haley right now. Everyone else is toast. I'm calling it now. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think it's a matter of lizard people, in my own personal opinion. I think it's more being competent, not being bought out by every fucking green agency and left-wing organization. I think that's really where it comes down to for me. But that's cool. At least, I mean, I've never met him though, so maybe he's got a different opinion on that.
Yeah, I don't like his ties to, number one, Nancy Pelosi, which we're going to get to later in the show too, because he's her nephew, I think, something like that.
Yep.
And their family's ties to the mafia, the old mob back in the 20s. I mean, that right there should tell you a lot about California politics. And I think this leads to a bigger question at large that I definitely don't want to get into tonight, but I would love to hear some feedback from our listeners. We posed the question about Kamala. This person brought up Gavin Newsom and a few other Democratic candidates. Does anyone really still think that the Democrats have all the answers? That it's not about who the Republicans put up. It's about which Democrat we're going to have as president. I think that's an interesting way to see the world, that they're just assuming that whoever they put up there against Trump will beat him. And I personally don't think the Democrats, if you look at what's happened in the last 3 years under this administration and how much worse off we are in every metric you want to choose. Economy, worse. Ukraine war, worse. What else? Social constructs, worse. So
drug problem, immigration.
Okay, thank you.
Everything.
Yeah. Everywhere you turn, it's worse than it was. So I'm not. I don't. And plus, then you got all the weird Maui shit and the way that they just completely abandoned East Palestine. I mean, no track record whatsoever of success for the Democrats since, I guess, if you want to say Obama. So I'm not sure why that's still out there. Like, well, it doesn't matter who we put up there; they're going to beat Trump. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting next, 13, 14 months.
So the next poll, it kind of surprised us, I think, because I think you were the one who found the video earlier in the week of a kid being thrown down, and I think that was at he was Carson City School District. It looked like a high schooler was thrown down by a Carson City district police officer. So not a regular cop. It was an actual police officer of the district.
Right.
I feel kind of dumb about this because apparently this has been going on for quite some time. And there's many districts around the country that have this going on. In fact, in Texas, there's 200 districts that have district police police that's district oriented.
Yeah.
The feedback that we got was nearly 50-50. 39 votes, 51.3% yes. Should a public school district have their own police force to protect schools and investigate crime? 51.3% yes, 48.7% no. I struggled with this question. I appreciate everybody who chimed in on this one. We got some great comments from Not So Big No. What a difficult conversation to have though, because on the one hand, you want the kids to be safe, but on the other hand, when you can't even get your teachers in line, how do you think a superintendent and school board is going to be able to manage a police force?
I wouldn't think they could. I mean, you're talking about most school boards are made up of, community members who, A, don't know the first thing about education, B, don't know the first thing about kids other than their own children who may or may not be in the district, and then C, don't know anything about how to manage people. They're just like regular people from the community that, basically muck things up. And then now we're also asking them on top of that to manage a police force. And on the one hand, I'm not surprised by how this poll came out 50-50, because you can see both sides of the argument, right? I mean, on the one hand, like you said, we want our kids to be safe. And after what happened in where was that in Texas? Where the police, thank you. They waited for an hour before they went in. I mean, you had parents going in and getting their kids out while the cops were still waiting outside because they were told to stand down. So yeah, on that hand, I want my school district to hire police to be on site and to use deadly force when someone's trying to get in and hurt kids. On the other hand, as you said, what a sad state of affairs that our own tax dollars that are paying for our police force can't protect our children and our communities. It's a very weird juxtaposition to be in. If you would have told me this would be an actual conversation that we were going to have on this show 5 years ago, I would have laughed you right out of the room. It's ridiculous. What a preposterous thing to talk about. And yet it warrants a serious discussion. And I think our poll showed that. Really, people are very split on it.
I think we're going to have to come back to this one because there's a lot more to it than just what we put up for the poll. I mean, you do have the crime problem. You've got guns in school that you have to protect against. But then you've also got the argument that teachers are using the police force to discipline kids. Well, that doesn't work either. You've got teachers sending kids to school who are undisciplined. That doesn't work. The police officer's put in a place that he loses. The teachers are in a place that he loses. And the kid isn't going to get education because, well, he's undisciplined and he's, at some points, actually be receiving citations. So it's a very cumbersome subject. And I'm glad we got to it as far as getting the poll out and being able to start a dive on it. But we're going to have to spend a lot of time trying to dig into this one and come back to it, I think, because it's just got a lot of minutia.
I agree. The other thing that complicates this is that they've been using the district police force to remove people from board meetings. Like the community comes to voice their opinions. Their parents are coming to, and they're using the police force to get them out of the board meeting. That is a major line to jump across. I'm not saying it shouldn't be jumped over because some people probably should shut the fuck up. I'm saying once you jump over that line, there's no going back.
Well, it's Gestapo type stuff, right?
Yeah. And so very complicated subject. And please, everybody, let us know kind of where you're at on it, how you're feeling. If it's something you want to hear us do a deep dive on, I'm definitely up for that. I think that'd be a great discussion.
Cool. Welcome, Calliope. Thanks for joining us. I know you're working tonight, so we appreciate you jumping in here.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be going for probably another hour and 40 minutes or so, something along those lines. We'll have to see, though.
Yeah, I believe she's pulling another one of those like ridiculous 36-hour shifts or something. So, our hour and a half more of our show is not going to get her through it all. But at least we can help with this one little part.
I think it would be a great idea for her to play this for some of her, especially as we get to like midnight and the real crazies come in. Play us to them so that they kind of settle down, because there's nothing more soothing to a meth head than your and my voice and us talking about drinking.
I mean, I'll drink to that. That's probably the wisest thing you've said in a long time, my friend.
All right, there you go. See? We just
cheers.
Bottle.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Hey, so let's talk about New Mexico. Can we get into that now?
Okay. Go ahead. Go.
New Mexico governor just shredded the Second Amendment because public safety. I'm willing to do anything and everything. No constitutional right, in my view, is intended to be absolute.
The order is that it gives me three things. One, it says it's a statewide issue and it's a message to everyone to start leveraging your resources and arresting people. Two, the jurisdictions come at this, including with the DOJ restrictions, differently, without the leveraging and the additional resources, arresting, and where do they go? We got to make sure that everyone is bumping up their service.
Whoops, what was that?
And to your point, just arrest everyone. Well, I also have to have the ability, I can't arrest everyone. There are literally too many people to arrest.
Well,
this would allow us,
if someone's got a concealed carry permit in Albuquerque walking down a public street, they're not going to get arrested.
I can make the point that they should be. And this is the point. I'm willing to do anything and everything within a shred of evidence-based effort. Because if you're not horrified that on any street corner in too many cities in New Mexico, there is someone with a gun sticking out of their waist or their belt. And I'll tell you, if you're a young person, you're not allowed to have a handgun.
Well, it's a crime already.
I got it, but we won't be able to arrest all of them. So imagine, just in a perfect world, if this was upheld, it gives all of these police officers the ability to focus on the real criminals.
Last follow-up.
Yeah.
But
your point is valid.
You took an oath to the Constitution. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carry license?
With one exception, and that is if there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on my freedoms. In this emergency, this 11-year-old and all these parents who have lost all these children, they deserve my attention to have the debate about whether or not in an emergency we can create a safer environment. Because what about their constitutional rights? I took an oath to uphold those too. And if we ignore this growing problem without being bold, I've said to every other New Mexican, your rights are subrogated to theirs. And they are not, in my view.
So there's more to that, and you guys can check show notes for it if you want. But what it comes down to is that she has taken away the Second Amendment for anybody living in New Mexico under this false imaginary pretense that she has the power to take a 30-day timeout on it because it's a quote-unquote emergency. This is, if this isn't a Democratic test case, I don't know what is. I'm sorry, a Democrat test case, a liberal test case.
Yeah, right.
This is absolute bait.
First of all, I love that the reporter brought up, the fact that, what you're saying here is suspending the Constitution, but you're doing that under your authority granted to you by that very document, by the Constitution. So if you're not going to recognize the Constitution, then why should we recognize you? You fucking idiot. That's basically what he was saying. And I also love this. This always seems to happen in these statements that she's going along, and then she brings up the actual case, right? This 11-year-old was killed, and it's a tragic story. It's, if you read up on the story, it really is one of those where you go, God damn, wrong place, wrong time, shit. But then she says, if you listen to her, she says, this 11-year-old and all these parents and all these kids. And all of a sudden it makes you think that this kind of thing happens daily, maybe several times a day, that there are just 11-year-olds being shot willy-nilly all over New Mexico. And all of a sudden it makes people who are listening to her go, God damn, we got to save the kids. And you're talking about one very tragic, but isolated, severely isolated case. And yet she wants to make it this huge issue that is an emergency act that gives her these powers to remove the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens, minding their own business, just wanting to protect themselves and their property. She wants to give the police the authority, as she puts it in her words, the authority to just arrest these people.
And she made it clear in that statement that maybe those law-abiding citizens need to be arrested also.
Yeah, yes, she did.
She
did say that.
She actually said that.
Yep.
So
it's very concerning. I think you are correct to bring it up as a, liberal sort of litmus test. Let's dip the paper in the water and let's see what color it comes out. I'm hoping she gets shut the fuck down, but I don't know.
So far, the Democratic Party, the National Party, has come out against it. Ted Lieu, which he's a piece of shit, but
yes,
he's come out against it. David Hogue, which is he's running for Senate, and I think he's ex-military. Don't quote me on that, but he has very, very strict views on gun violence and a number of other things that are just bordering on goofy. He's come out against it. Now, if this happens again, or this goes to a national level, you're never going to see these guys again talk about this and come out against it. These are just mouthpieces for the liberals. But we also have to look at, too, you already have in a suburb, a sheriff found it to be unconstitutional, and he's not willing to go ahead and actually persecute anybody for that. And there's been some other leaders that have come out and said that, he's not, or they're not okay with it either. I think the Republican Party is also even trying to impeach her now, the governor. So we're gonna have to see what actually happens with this.
Say, to put this in context, in just the state of New Mexico, I'd like to see the number of 11-year-olds killed in traffic accidents versus the number of 11-year-olds killed in an accidental shooting.
Right.
I don't care. Give me a month, give me a year, any random year in the last 20 years. I don't give a shit. I'm going to guarantee you the death by motor vehicle accident is going to be, I don't know, I'm going to throw out there a number 10 times more. It's probably even more than that. And yet this moron isn't getting up there saying, hey, we probably should revoke everybody's driver's licenses because there's too many 11-year-olds dying in car accidents.
Yep.
This is a 2A political issue. Make no mistake about it. What we do on this show is we see the narrative and then we unravel it. And that's where it unravels right there. There's probably more kids, more 11-year-olds dying of some sort of pediatric cancer than there are being shot. So let's put it into context. Let's figure it the fuck out and let's move on. It was a tragic case. I'm not trying to shine over it. I'm saying you can't just ruin it for everyone because one bad thing happened to one person. That's not how our society works.
Let's talk right to privacy. Can we do that?
Jesus Christ. Okay. Like
So
I'm not already fired up.
Beard of Liberty.
Yeah.
I saw this earlier in the week and I was like, I kind of glossed over it. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I saw it was from the Hodge twins, which is a fantastic follow if you guys catch them. But I just, for whatever reason, I didn't get back to it. Beard threw that up in the Patreon chat. And here's the long and the short of it. An individual was at the January 6th, quote unquote, insurrection. Okay. The FBI went out and got a warrant to get into his safe at home.
They got a warrant to go into his house, and then on top of it, then they got a hold of the safe company, which kind of creepy that they even knew what kind of safe he had in his house, but okay. Got a warrant to get to from the company that sold him the safe.
Liberty Safe.
Liberty Safe. Yeah, let's name them. And they went ahead and turned over the code to the safe so they could get in it. I mean,
what the fuck?
What the fuck?
It's my property. You know, there's customer service. There's giving me my actual code to get into my safe, which I don't know why I shouldn't need it. Period. That should be my safe. There's no way I should have to need that. That is that important. But to have basically a back door, and we could talk about other back doors the government uses in software, in phones, in conversations. This is just an extension of that, and I think this one really this was a real shot at anybody who owns a gun, America in general. But
well, and I mean not even okay. The other issue here too is, so if you get pulled over by a police officer for, say, you're speeding, and he says, "Hey, can I take a look in the glove box? Can I take a look in the trunk?" As long as those are locked and or just shut and latched, he has no right to search those things. He didn't pull you over for suspicion of, using a firearm in a robbery or for drugs or whatever. So the only way he can get in those areas is if you consent. And if you say, no, I know my rights, that shit's locked, you're going to need a warrant to get in my locked things, then that's where he stops. Unless he, calls the drug dogs or whatever and they get a sniff and he has reasonable suspicion, then he can open the trunk and then you're fucked if you're indeed carrying drugs. So let's go back to the original story. This guy was at January 6th. So what was the suspicion? I mean, was he the guy that supposedly planted pipe bombs in cars around January 6th, around the Capitol? Was he the guy that, because I don't,
was he one of the cops that let everybody in and urged them on?
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember anyone there getting shot other than that one young lady, and she was shot by the Capitol Police. Nobody else brought a gun. So what was their justifiable cause? I mean, I'd like to see that warrant. I'd like to know what the judge actually signed off on And then what they went ahead and took the liberty, no pun intended, took the liberty to go ahead and do once that warrant was served. Because I find it highly suspect that a judge would be like, yes, you also can search his safe, and I want you to contact the company and get a backdoor to the safe.
I'm definitely no legal representative. I couldn't tell you what the legalities are behind it, but it's highly suspect. That Liberty safe is going to get sued.
Oh, they're fucked. I mean, they're the next Bud Light.
All right, so don't buy Liberty safe. I guess that's what we're saying. I'm tempted to go after The View. Should we do The View?
I can't even believe they're still on the air, but yes, let's shred them.
You know, I think we need to find, and we've dealt with this before. I lived in Miami. I was an immigrant in Miami in the 80s. You'll remember when we had the Mariel boat lift. Yes. 125,000 Cubans came in a matter of 6 months. It puts tremendous stress on a city, on a community, on the social services. They need to be resettled elsewhere.
They need to be spread out. We're this massive country.
Well, and it's only going to get worse with global warming and climate change because people can't live in certain parts of this world.
Right.
To
right.
be...
You are so right.
Thanks. Oh my God.
There's so much to unpack there.
There's and it was only a 33-second clip. Okay,
I know.
So we've got, first of all, and I haven't said this in a long time, to be an immigrant and be the political football that you've turned into, on behalf of America, I am sorry.
Same.
I am sorry. You've just been turned into a pawn. You're just a chess piece. And I hate saying that. It's absolutely terrible. But now you've got The View, who has been so supportive and so just engaged in wanting this to happen. And then to come out and say, just because New York can't handle it, because New York is overrun, I'm sorry. You don't just say, not on my lawn. And that's what they're doing.
Yes.
It's just, it's insane.
It is insane. We've got a Hefe sighting here, and I think he probably has an opinion on this as well. Yeah. Hefe, what's going on, man?
There he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, we can hear you.
Yes.
It's going okay. It's going a little better now.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Do you have a good
You got some
cable?
lubrication?
I did. Yes. All three.
Yes. You got the trifecta, hat trick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, so we're talking about the idiot. I'm probably not even allowed to use this word, but the idiot Yenta on The View, who comes out. I love that the first thing she says is, "Hey, I was an immigrant. I'm from Cuba, and I was part of that huge wave in Miami." So basically what she's saying is it was okay for me and the other 125,000 Cubans that came over at that time. But now, what's happening now, it's too much. We need to stop it. We can't do this. That's basically what she's saying. So going back to your point, McShane, it's like, yeah, not on my lawn. You can go do it over there, but not over here. Fuck you guys.
It really is surreal that we're doing that. Hefe, your thoughts?
To be honest with you, can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you.
I'm hijacking the show again.
Oh, all right. Do it.
All right. Let's go sideways.
It's Buttercup.
Oh, dear.
And Sugar Plum.
Oh, shit.
We heard that it's Hefe's birthday, so we had to come give him a birthday tip. Oh, the tip.
Just the tip?
It is his birthday tomorrow, and but this is officially a Hefe birthday show. So Hefe, I wish we were all in the same place at the same time, and we could clink our beer glasses together. Happy birthday, dude!
Thank you. I wish we were too. That'd be really cool.
Next
sometime
year.
Soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So these two lovely ladies came out to wish me a happy birthday in person. And I told them, hey, I'm doing a show. And they said, well, fuck it. We'll do it with you. So here we are.
Very nice.
Here we are indeed. Yeah, no, this is a nice, what are we, a fivesome now? Fivesome.
It is a fivesome now. It is a fivesome. Hey, well, while you're here, we might as well talk about why do people put things in their ass that they probably shouldn't. Like there's certain things that you should put in there.
I was just gonna say, Buttercup, aren't you somewhat of a expert on this subject, or like isn't that? I don't know. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Fitz.
Okay, that's okay. Excellent.
Did you know nearly 4,000 people are hospitalized with foreign objects in their rectum each year, according to a new study published last month by American Journal?
How many of them are Richard Gere?
Wait, you're saying Richard Gere's the object or the people? Because
how many times does Richard Gere show up at a ER? Or either he's the insert or he's inserted somebody or something in him.
Nationally representative data on rectal foreign bodies in the U.S. found 948 emergency department visits based on 885 cases in this time period among party poopers older than 15.
Did you just say party poopers?
That's what it says here. This is straight from the New York Post. I can't make this stuff up. And I would never bring a 15-year-old into the conversation either. So it's got to be the New York Post.
But they're saying older than 15, which means 16, 17, and 17 and a half-year-olds are in there.
Apparently.
You know what's crazy? They show some x-rays, and the stuff people are able to get up there is remarkable to me. Like wine bottles and stuff. And I don't mean the sharp end first. Like they're putting it up the blunt end first. A wine bottle.
Well, you got to have something to hold on to, just in case.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like if that's what you're into, if that's your thing, right? I mean, you want to put things there. Give yourself an out. I mean, like literally, like tie a string to it, or have a, I don't know, like a little loop-de-loop on there on the end of it, or something. Something you can get a finger in there and suck it back out. What the hell?
Other visuals right now I got going in my head are you sound like kind of
an
And you know what, McShane, I think we're missing the boat here. You know what we need to invent is the party pooper stopper, or something that can affix to many items but has a finger loop that you can pull it back out, and then it just says Whiskey L on it.
The Whiskey L butt plug. I think that's what you want.
I mean, okay. You say tomato.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with a Whiskey Hill butt plug. And I think what we can do is, you know how some of them come out like they're kind of bedazzled, or they've got like that little jewel on the end of it?
Oh yeah.
We just put a big Whiskey Hell on that. And maybe we've got one that we make, it's a beer holder, right? Because they've got taco ones, right? So we could have a beer holder. You could have we've got ponytails that people can wear around. Why not? I'm perfectly fine with this.
Dude. All right, we're going to get our marketing team on this. We're going to make this happen.
I just want to say, stop shaming people for wanting to put toys in their ass. Let them go to Zorba's. Shout out to Old School Scottsdale.
Oh my God, that's way
the
old
Castle, school. Right? Castle Boutique.
Yeah.
If you're going to go online to one of the other, places, go buy your toys. Put something up there that should be, right? Don't put a cactus up your ass. Don't put a light bulb in your ass. That's not the way to go. It's a bad idea.
Anything glass to me that just frightens the hell out of me. Like I just picture that, like maybe I'm overestimating the strength of my sphincter, but I just picture like I crush it while it's in there, and now I have broken glass all in my rectum.
Nobody wants glass in their ass.
Didn't Annie Lennox have a song, Sitting on Broken Glass?
Walking.
Walking. Sorry. Thanks, Hefe, for correcting me there.
Yeah, I don't think it fell out of her ass either. I think it was a metaphor, but not for.
I think it was metaphorical, but I'm pretty sure we could make it into a literal, like, something is up my ass, like something is up my ass.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. It's a great
and it's
parody.
Broken glass.
Like, we need to talk to Weird Al about that. Yes,
I'm spitballing it. Oh yeah, there we go.
Spitballing. It's snowballing.
Did you say spitballing?
He said spitballing.
Oh,
I said snowballing.
There's no snowballing on this show. Yet.
No, I'm pretty sure that's racist.
Hey, and last year, a French senior citizen left doctors shell-shocked when he arrived with a World War I artillery shell lodged in his rectum.
Pulp Fiction. The dad.
That's right.
I wore this up my ass for 50 years.
All
So
right.
do you think, okay, at what point does the guy with the artillery shell up his ass, do you think he puts it up there and he's like, uh-oh, this is going to be trouble? Or do you think it's like 2 or 3 days and he's like, I just can't get this back out? Like, at what point do you start to get concerned?
I would right away.
Well,
do we know the size of a World War I artillery shell?
It's got to be. I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say it's bigger than me.
Okay, that's a very roomy ass.
You like your body?
What? No way. He did not have that up his ass.
The New York Post said it. It has to be true.
And why does it have to be a World War I shell? Like, does he? I mean, is that the part that got him off?
I don't
or
know.
was it?
Maybe
I mean,
he's a. Well, they're obviously have got a lot of girth. Maybe he's a girth queen. I have no idea.
Well, but there's other things that size. I mean, you could get like a fire extinguisher or something up there.
Jesus Christ.
Given his love of history, I feel like he got himself in a shitty situation.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Thank you.
I would play off like that must have fallen in there during the war. Glad I put that up last night.
Yeah, I definitely did not, and I didn't lube it. I mean,
Nope.
It just was there. Just one day I couldn't shit anymore.
It's been up there for 112 years.
Jesus.
All right. Well, Hefe, you're about to go back to work there, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
Got a few minutes.
So what are what kind of birthday plans you got? You just hanging out with the kids, or what do you got going on?
I'm actually going to lunch with Buttercup and
Sugar Plum.
Let's start with the 100%. But other than that, kids, yeah.
Nice.
So-
Well, I'll be giving you the traditional birthday call at some point.
All right, let's do it.
Yep. That's got to happen every year.
Yeah, no big plans. What are you guys doing for my birthday?
I'm actually going to sacrifice a live chicken for you.
Oh, I was going to masturbate, but I like the.
You're doing that every day, though.
Thing.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean that's like.
Do something
that's
special.
Just a Sunday, like a normal Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna masturbate with a sacrificed chicken. I don't wait. What?
You can do it.
Fitz, you could put a candle in your ass and light it for him.
I'm gonna promise you this right here, right now. If I do that, I will have it videoed and I will send it to you.
Yes.
I want you to sing a happy birthday, Mr. President, while you do that, and then I want your wife to blow it out. Can you do that?
Yes. I will effort that.
Let's get that started.
I feel like all of his birthday wishes just came true.
That's not all that came.
Hey, I aim to please. You know? Oh boy, that's not okay. And yet, it's
Here we are.
Perfectly okay. And yeah, yep.
We did. Hey, we're going to get into something a little bit later on COVID. Are you seeing any masks in the on the floor there?
Yeah, there's more. There's a couple of dealers wearing them too.
Really?
And waitresses, yeah.
Can I ask you? Are you going to mask up?
I'm not by choice. Not by choice. No.
Yeah.
If they make it mandatory, then they got tricky rules out here.
Well, yeah. you got to follow the rules. So that's understood.
And you're public facing. I mean, you're kind of the face of the casino there. So if the mandate's in place, I had a coworker come to work this week with a mask on, and I thought, oh shit, here we go. But it turns out she actually has whooping cough. She caught whooping cough, and
Jesus, why is she
yeah,
at work?
so that's what I said, but it's like, this is a crazy time of year. You know, it's the end of the summer and beginning of the school year, and there's a lot of programs kicking up, and she just needed to be there. So, but she wore a mask around because she just had this, like, it was like a whooping cough. And so I thought, all right, you know, at least you have a legit reason to have it on. You're keeping all your cooties, you know, at least somewhere around your face.
It's like, I get it, just stay over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
So,
well, it's already been mandated back in Maryland, so we've got that to look forward to. And the big press went on this week. We had a ton of action as far as that goes. So it's here. The narrative's back. We're not fully into it. No, I think probably by some people are calling the 13th. Some people are calling the 25th. We will be full back in full bore COVID. I don't want to say stature or anything, but something like that.
yeah. Well, you had Dr. Jill Biden get COVID this week too.
Yes,
so
yes,
that's
you did.
like, you know,
And-
here you go. Somebody
and
who's a
Whoopi got
public
it,
face.
too.
Oh yeah, and Whoopi, right? So
Hey.
you got these big figures. Oh, you got to go, Hefe?
Yeah, I'm going to head back in.
All right.
All right, man.
Good
We'll
talking
talk
to
to you later.
Good talking to you guys. All right. We'll see you.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Bye.
Drive safe. So I think we're back in it. All right. I think this is where we're at.
At least they're trying to get us back in it. I mean,
it's going to be harder this time. It's going to be really hard. And I think we even touched on this like last week, maybe in or one of the previous shows, that it's going to be much, much more difficult to get everybody into that. But it's coming a full press. And I really appreciated when Whoopi went on The View and she was wearing a mask when she was the only one in the view in the room.
she's
at
the
home.
only. She was at home zooming in.
Right.
There's nobody
right.
around, and she's in a mask. Like, what
Can
are you
I
doing,
have
you moron?
one fucking day where one prominent headpiece, mouthpiece, doesn't virtue signal anything? It is absolutely amazing.
I know it is, and I don't think so. I kind of feel like they, and by they I mean people who are virtue signaling on that ultra liberal, ultra left, everybody's feelings are valid kind of bullshit. I feel like they are feeling cornered because the rest of us are like, all right, that's enough. You had your time.
Suck it.
yeah, that's enough. I mean, party's over. So now they're just getting just desperate. Like there's desperation to it. It feels desperate. It feels like, I mean, to your point, it's almost like they have to put somebody up in front of a camera at least once a day to virtue signal us, just so we know they're still there, that they're still in the room and they're still relevant or whatever. I don't know. It feels, it's not random. It's like it's this effort.
Yeah.
And we see you. Stupid.
How's that beer coming?
I'll be honest. I'm not liking it as much at this point as I was in the beginning.
Too sweet?
Yeah, it got too sweet. That's exactly right. The sweet was pleasant in the beginning. Now it's just like, okay, I get it. You're a fucking peanut butter cookie. It's the same thing if I was having actual peanut butter cookies. I'm only going to have one or two. I'm on number 7 now, and I'm like, okay, I'm sick of them. I don't want any more. So that's kind of where I'm at on this beer. I'm not saying it's not a good beer. It was delicious. It's just, I'm ready to be done. So how about you?
So it's a little bit overwhelming on the palate. And after you've had a full, what is this, a 16-ounce can? It's one of the big feature cans. 16 ounces. I think one of the problems with a pale ale is it builds and it builds and it builds. If it isn't one of those super clean, no aftertaste. This one does have the aftertaste, and it just collects on your taste buds, and it's overwhelming to the point that the fun part of it, the fruitiness that kind of mellowed out the pale ale, is gone. So it's not as pleasant as it once was. Would I get this occasionally? Yes. Probably because I'm going to drink it a lot faster than I am right now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't commit to this. I said 4-packs, several. I wouldn't do that now.
Yeah. I'm certainly not trying to tell anybody how to do their jobs. It's not. But if I could just say to brewers, this is why I prefer subtlety. Because especially when it's a big, like you said, a 16-ounce can or a big bottle, a big bomber. I have to survive all the way through this thing. So while I might like the first sip, if you hit me too hard over the head in the beginning, I'm going to be unconscious by the end of the sexcapade. So, a little hair pull is okay, but I've been beaten over the head with this thing. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to play anymore. So there is something to the art of subtlety here when it comes to beers, because it's not just a shot. Like if you can have a shot that you hated and you're like, okay, I'm not doing it anymore. But if you have too much of a good thing, it just becomes I don't want it anymore. Yeah. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. And it probably doesn't mean shit to any brewers out there, but if you're listening, subtlety is a nice thing sometimes.
It's an art form.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're up on an hour here. Do you want to go and grab beer 2?
I do. Absolutely. I'm really excited. Very different beer 2 for me. So yeah, let's get to it.
All right. We'll be back in just a minute with you guys. All right. So getting into beer 2. I'm going with a dark lager. Not even trying to have a theme to this, but I'm going with a dark lager. And
you had a light, and now you're going dark.
I am going dark, yeah.
Like it.
Dark, no mames, mames. It's got a chihuahua on it. It's totally a psycho-looking chihuahua. I love it. But it's by Tripping Animals. Tripping Animals Brewing. So let me go ahead and bring it up here real quick. I still haven't had one of their beers that wasn't really, really good.
I can't get them out here, but I do remember having a couple during my travels. So, and I don't remember hating any of them.
Okay, now I get it. They have a Mexican-style lager, and this is the dark lager version. Now I'm really intrigued. Okay.
It's a dark Mexican, like a, why can't I think of it?
Dos Equis.
Nope. The other one.
Oh, Modelo?
Thank you. Negro Modelo. One of my favorite beers of all time, actually. So, yeah. Interesting.
I think that's what they're going for because it looks looks like a dark Mexican lager, and it smells like it too. Oh, I need it to stay that way throughout the whole rest of the second half.
Oh,
that is You take a Mexican lager and you make it a brown ale. That's what I got.
Nice.
It is
malty.
Filthy, malty,
yeah.
A little bit sweet.
Love it,
man. You know how it is more crushable than a porter. It has more flavor than a porter.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited by this.
Nice.
Now, if it can just keep my...
Yeah, right. That's the test, right?
That's it. It has to last a whole hour here. Don't upset me. There we go. That's what I want.
Warning.
But yeah, that's the beer. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of Tripping Animals and send it up to you. So you can.
Yeah, I just can't get it up here.
All right, what do you have over there?
Well, I'm like you. I have zero theme for tonight. I just kind of went with what sounded good. And I also actually I will say there was a theme that I wanted to start with a dark and end with something, lighter. Just to have two kind of diametrically opposed beers. So I went with a Hop and Frog. That's the name of the brewery. This is their pineapple upside down cake.
Okay.
Which I'm a huge fan of pineapple upside down cake. I know there's a debate out there among people. Some people think pineapple belongs on pizza. Other people don't. Some people love pineapple upside down cake. Some people find it abhorrent. I'm in the former camp on both issues. Do like pineapple on my pizza. I also like pineapple upside down cake. And so I just thought this would be a fun little romp here. I mean, we've talked about it before on the show, but just the amount of cool shit they can do with beers now. So this is a juicy pineapple taste and aroma, adds a delightful tropical complement to the refreshing lemon and light malt flavors of this citrus ale. Complex and satisfying, taking citrus ales to a whole new level. So let's see if they can live up to all that bullshit they just said.
Hopping Frog does some really good dark beers, but I've noticed over the years they've started getting a little bit more chemical-like. I'll be interesting to see what you're getting out of that one.
Okay, so you know the little Marciano cherry that they sometimes have on pineapple upside down cake?
Yeah.
You know, the little cherries that you get in your drinks sometimes too? That's what I'm tasting more than pineapple or upside down or cake.
Really?
They should have named this one Marciano cherry. So it's tart and sweet. And then on the end of it, I get kind of I get some lemon. I get some of the lemon they're talking about, but I also taste cherry in there. It's weird. Maybe it's because there's a picture of one of those cherries on the can. Like they have a picture of a pineapple upside down cake with the cherry on there. So maybe that's why
are you getting any of the acidity that goes along with a pineapple?
Yes.
Or...
No, I mean it's a tart. This is a tart ale for sure. And
Okay.
and it is citrusy and light. This one is one that you could definitely enjoy on a hot summer day. I don't know if it feels like it's missing the mark just a little bit from what they were going for. I don't know. We'll see how it warms up. Maybe I'll change my tune here in a few sips. I don't know, but right now that's all to say. I'm really enjoying it. It's very good. It's a well-crafted beer. It's definitely an homage to crazy shit they can do with beers now, because this doesn't, when people are like, I hate beer. You haven't had this. You haven't had a fucking peanut butter cookie in a glass.
Yeah.
So it's up there with that, but I like that this is nice and tart. It's offsetting that too sweet I had in the first beer. So we'll see how it ends up.
That's one of the funny things about someone who says, well, I don't like beer. You might not, but is that because you're drinking, Bud Light, Budweiser, Coors?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that either. But there's a lot of really, really good beers out there, and everybody should just, take a swing at them. I think it's good fun. So but that's just me.
Yeah, it's like people that say they hate sushi. I mean, sushi, that's a big umbrella.
I had no idea how big it was. I thought it was just raw fish and that was it. But it's so different.
Oh my God. You can get some rice. I'm just going to say rice, cream cheese, and avocado, and then deep fried. That's fucking delicious. And it's considered sushi. So, I mean, you can't. Yes, there's fish present in some sushi, but unless you're going like very strict, like traditional nigiri, or some of the more traditional recipes, you can get way outside of just the raw fish deal and have some amazing sushi that you never thought was possible. So, same thing with beer.
What's your go-to?
Well, I'm actually, what I've been doing the last time I had sushi is I go and pick something off the menu I've never had before.
Okay.
I mean, I'm at the point of my sushi career, if you could call it that, where I just want to be adventurous. I would just want to try new shit. And I've kind of done it all, I think. Like I've had the quail eggs, I've had the sea urchin, I've had the eel. I've had kind of the ones that are on the sort of fringes of acceptable sushi. But I mean, I love good tuna. We get amazing salmon up here. So any of the salmon sushi we get here in Eugene is phenomenal. But I like the eel sauces. I like all of the roe that they put on top. I like it all, dude. I really have become. It is. I mean, that's where I went for my birthday a couple years ago. It was like, my wife asked me, where do you want to go? I'm like, I want sushi. I know most people don't, but I do. So that's where we went. So anyway, yeah, I love it. I haven't had it in a while. Now that we're talking about it, I'm going to have to make that happen soon here.
Hey, let's get into this Twitter stuff. And I don't know which is the bigger deal. Honestly, neither of it. Not that I'm over Elon in X and all that kind of business, because I'm not. I still find it fascinating because I truly think he's going to be. I think you're going to see more of what happened this week as people try to drag him off the face of the earth. Just go back to go back to making your cars, buddy. Just shut up. I think that's what people want at this point.
Yeah, I mean that kind of also shows you how truly influential and important he's become, because they're trying to tear him down at every corner.
So he announced this week that he may go ahead and Twitter might go ahead and sue the Anti-Defamation League, which is ironic because the Anti-Defamation League is all about protecting the Jewish name in the Jewish population and not defaming, right? That's what they're all about. Well, apparently, with the pressure that they put, and we've talked about ESGs and we've talked about the social leverage that a lot of companies and organizations put, the government, for instance, on various entities to do their bidding, right? We need you to be woke. You need to be more woke. The NPRs, the cult that we've talked about.
Yep. All the mainstream media.
Now, he's claiming that with the pressure that the Anti-Defamation League has put on advertisers, that they've lost roughly $22 billion. And part of this, the most interesting part that came out for me was that he hasn't lost the advertisers in Europe or other countries. It's only here where the ADL has an incredible following, an incredible budget also.
Yeah, that was a key point for me on this whole argument, because I was like, well, how can you prove, right? I mean, maybe it's a cultural movement that has made Twitter lose revenue. People are just not paying attention to Twitter like they used to. And when are we going to stop calling it Twitter? I know he changed the name.
You did really good earlier. You did really good. You called it X right out of the gate, and I screwed it up and called it Twitter again.
Well, now here I am calling it Twitter too. But anyway, but right there, your point that the most of the revenue was lost here in this country, where the ADL is very influential and has a lot of dollars to throw around, whereas in Europe, not so much. And they didn't lose the ad revenue there. I mean, that right there tells me Elon has a pretty major case.
It's concerning. Again, I keep saying it's concerning. A lot of things are concerning, but again, this is pretty concerning.
One more point is we've talked about this on the show before, but I just want to bring it up one more time. It feels to me like the ADL has fallen victim to this phenomenon that we're seeing, where people or organizations or an ideology, it goes so far away from the thing it hates that it actually circles around on itself and becomes the thing that it hates. So, anti-defamation, what you're saying is you want to be able to stop people from criticizing you and your people. But by doing that, you're now holding other people down, and you're causing major losses for actual businesses that are just trying to spread free speech. And so you go so far to the left that you wake up one day and you're actually on the right. I mean, it's happened to the right also. They go so far right that they're to the left. And so I think the ADL needs to tread very carefully here because I think they probably infringed on X.
Well, let's listen to the ADL CEO, Greenblatt. Let's do that.
Yes, please.
Brands are big boys and girls. They will make their own decisions. I mean, let's be clear here. Like, this is the wealthiest man in the world running one of the most powerful media platforms on the planet. We're a nonprofit here in New York. So I think figuring out like who has the power in this relationship, it's pretty clear to me.
Fundamentally believe that Elon Musk is anti-Semitic?
I have never said Elon Musk is anti-Semitic. I've been on this show and said that I didn't think he was anti-Semitic. And I don't think Twitter as a platform is anti-Semitic. And as we've said here, hate speech is the price of free speech. But let's acknowledge that when Elon Musk and the platform bring people, hardened anti-Semites back on, when they validate their rantings, when they algorithmically amplify them and allow it to spread.
How out there are you, publicly and behind the scenes, talking to advertisers and telling them do not advertise on this platform? Are you doing that?
We are not out there publicly or privately talking to advertisers. Frankly, it's true, we did call for a pause back in November after the acquisition. And then since then, since that initial statement, what we are doing is engaging with the management of the company, trying to help them make it better.
A question, because I know this has been a critique of your organization and of many. Were you seeking to have some kind of either role at Twitter or any kind of donations made or other things?
No.
I only say that because there have been folks who've looked at these situations and felt that they were being shaken down.
Look, I think, let me be honest about that, right? I think it is a sort of anti-Semitic trope to suggest when Jewish people express a degree of outrage over anti-Semitism, that somehow that's a shakedown because Jews are greedy. That sounds to me.
I'm not
saying you believe that.
I'm not even trying to. I'm just saying that is the critique. Occasionally, you hear the critique among not-for-profits in certain cases that are involved in certain causes that talk to companies, and you hear it from leaders who say, I feel like
I hear that. So what we've tried to do over the years with Twitter, with YouTube, with Facebook and all of its platforms, with Reddit, with Discord, I could go on and on, is to work with them to make those platforms better.
When you call for a pause, you're doing more than just deciding. You're saying, hey, let's everybody stop advertising with them. Let's see what's going to happen. That's what you're saying. Yep. And this is not a small organization. $283 million in their purse is not a small organization. It's not. And again,
no, that's a huge nonprofit. And
like what you were saying, at its core, the ADL has a good message. But like any other of these organizations that get up and want to go ahead and pervert that message and throw their weight around, and if you don't stop advertising, or if you don't start supporting my beliefs, what I want, you're going to lose your ESG score. Okay, you're going to be blackballed. We're not going to want to do business with you. Suddenly, the ADL is not going to want to deal with Ford, or GMC, or Intel. Those are big things when that happens. You don't want to be blackballed by the ADL just because what at the core it should stand for. Suddenly, you hate Jews. Yeah, that's a lot of weight to throw around, and I mean he's not willing to give on that.
And the anti-Semitic, anti-Jew rock, if you will, it causes a really big ripple.
Yes.
In the pond, right? I mean, it's not, you're not just talking about the whatever it is, 20 million Jews here in the United States. also all the people on the fringes of those people don't want to be seen as supporting an anti-Semitic view. So yeah, if he comes out and he's like, hey, all Fords are anti-Semitic, I guarantee you that company's going to fucking tank, because no one's going to want to be seen driving a Ford anymore, because now you're going to look like people are going to be calling you Hitler. And so you're right. It's not just the $293 million that non worth. It's not just the 23 million Jews. It's the ripples that those things can cause and the damage that was done in World War II.
You
so
get
no,
it.
it's a lot of weight to throw around. It's almost as much, maybe even more weight than the African American Black community can throw around, because you can't even be seen to even partially maybe be questioning something that might be possibly construed as anti African American or Black. Yeah, I mean, so it's God. Right now at this point, I'm really glad I don't own my own business anymore. Right? I mean, I'm glad I am part of a larger organization that has very healthy and robust HR, very healthy and robust community engagement department, where they vet everything that goes out to the public. Not one letter is put out, not one word is okayed without going through those two departments. And it's a nice blanket to put around yourself when you're sort of engaging with the public, to be like, okay, I want to make sure that my message gets across, but also that I don't offend anyone, because that's not my point. That's not my intent ever. Everyone is welcome. The only thing that isn't welcome is hate. And so I want to make sure that that's the message I'm putting out there. And one false word, one trip of the tongue, and you can all of a sudden be seen to be hateful. And and none of us wants that. Other than like actual Nazi people or like the KKK.
The actual pieces of shit that are out there, right?
Right. Those fucking idiots on the bridge, with all their swastikas and shit. Yeah.
Biden's very fine people. Are those the ones you're referring to? Because he did that this week too.
Yes, he did that too. And we may or may not get into that. But I mean, I think all of us, we're so busy walking on, well, to reference an earlier phrase, walking on broken glass here, that we don't want to say the wrong thing, and then we end up not saying the right thing. And that's a dangerous place to be. So to go back to the original issue here, I think Elon has a case. I think the ADL just really needs to tread carefully as they move forward here.
Yeah.
Because you're crossing the line in some places. As you said, if you say let's put a pause on things, let's take a break, that's pretty huge. That's sending a message.
Yeah. Especially when you're the one who's able to throw that around and say, and have advertisers listen to you. Yeah, I buy $22 billion could have been lost on that. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So that comes out at the beginning of the week, and then like 2 days later, suddenly we get this Starlink issue where Starlink is called out for not allowing Ukraine to use their satellites in an offensive against Russia.
Yeah, so
I didn't have that on my bingo card. I didn't.
No, me either. And what was weird about it is the way it first broke was that somebody put, like, in quotes, from leaked documents.
Yep.
Right? Leaked documents show that Elon wouldn't support this drone raid.
Unnamed sources. Elon shut down the offensive and caused the submarines, the drone submarines, I'm paraphrasing, to go limp into shore, not completing the attack in Crimea.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack on this one, and we'll move quickly through it. But right there, when you start saying, leaked documents, unnamed sources, these are key words to know that this is a CIA op. I mean, that's how they speak to each other.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's their only lingo they know. And so that was a red flag right away. So when this story came out, I don't remember if you sent it or I sent it, doesn't matter. But we both were kind of like, wait, what? What
Right.
what happened?
Well, first
And
of
then
all, it was from
almost-
CNN. So right
Well,
there, you need to
there
make
you
sure
go.
that, okay, well, let's talk this one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was from CNN that they deactivated his Starlink satellites in response to a covert attack that Ukraine was planning.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's where I absolutely love Elon. Because he, from the very beginning, say what you want about the guy, but from the very beginning of everything that he's ever done, he has been about transparency and being completely 100% honest. So he sees this and he's like, oh, no, I'll tell you exactly what happened. And the nice thing is that he has this track record of being 100% honest. So when he comes out and tells us his version of the story, quote unquote, we have no reason to doubt him because he's done nothing but tell the truth. So he says, actually what happened was they asked me to send Starlink and put it over this area of, what was it, Sevastopol?
Yeah.
Which Starlink wasn't there. I didn't have any satellites over that area. They asked me to move my stuff over there so that they could complete this attack. Number one, that was going to cost my company money. And number two, I was basically then condoning this attack that would maybe push us to the brink of nuclear war. So no, I said no, absolutely. That's exactly what happened. Is I said, I will not do that. Well, that's a very different version of the story than, hey, he shut down his satellites and he wouldn't let us use them. That's not what happened. What happened was he said, no, I'm not going to do what you're asking me to do and move them to where I don't want them and where it's going to cost me money, put other customers out of touch with my satellites. No, I'm not fucking doing it. And God damn it. Good for you, Elon. Like literally may have just averted an escalation into World War III. I mean, nobody knows for sure, but he really put his foot down and he said, no, this is a line I won't cross. And I love, hate, or indifferential to the guy. You have to respect that. You have to.
And this is not to say that we're drinking the Kool-Aid on Elon. That's not the point.
No,
but it was very,
no.
very clear that this week the narrative was, this is going to be an Elon hit piece. We're going to go ahead and slam him here. We're going to make sure that we come out full bore because, let's face it, the guy hasn't been touched in a while, and we were going into an election.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
All right. Let's get into this interview that Tucker did. Can we real quick?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Here's a little interview, and this is off of Dom Lucre, but this is Larry Sinclair.
It's going to be one that we're all going to remember for quite some time. Tucker Carlson, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not because of the interview per se, but because you, along with J, A, L, and N, you and they know who I'm referring to, actually made me realize that now is the time. After 15 years of hell, after 15 years of nothing but lies, distortions, misrepresentations, outright false statements, it's time. Everything, and I mean everything, gets put out on the table. So, thanks to a friend of mine, Luke, tonight, after Tucker's interview airs, we're going to sit down live, and the whole story, from beginning to end, everything, and I am going to go line by line, from beginning to end, and I am going to make it clear that contrary to everybody's swearing and claiming this and that about me and that it's a lie, Well, it's not. And all of the lies that have been told, I'm going to actually demonstrate how they're lies. The same ones that people are, again, republishing and rehashing and spreading on X since yesterday. And I'm loving it. I really am. But when I'm done tonight, I'm going to go home. I'm going to pour myself a Grey Goose screwdriver. I'm going to relax. I'm going to have one, maybe two, maybe three drinks in my house. And then tomorrow, I am going to get with my doctors, and I'm going to schedule the surgery on my right arm and hand.
All right, we're good. He's a fucking lunatic. But that's Larry Sinclair, the guy who sat down with Tucker this week to claim that he's banged Obama several times. I don't know where we want to really go with that. I have strong convictions about Tucker even doing the interview.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I'll say is clearly this man has he's been through it, because there's video, and I have seen pictures of him as a younger man, because he was talking about these things happening like 25 years ago, something like that.
Right.
And he was not a bad looking guy then. This video that you just played, he's number one, he's missing teeth. He's kind of talking. He's mastered how to talk with missing some teeth, but he's definitely missing some teeth. He's talking about surgeries on both of his arms. I don't know what that's about. And he just kind of looks like he's just been ridden hard. And you go, okay, this guy, why would Obama sleep with this dude? Like he looks older than he is. But then you see of him back in the day, and you're like, okay, I could see he was very clean cut, looked good suit, is a prominent lawyer. All right, I could see if you had some tendencies towards the same sex, you could see this guy as somebody who, and he's willing to supply the blow and the fucking hotel room and whatever else. Let's do it. So there's a little bit of kind of weirdness there. Now, the angle that you're going to take here, which I want you to sort of enumerate, with Tucker Carlson even taking the interview, we have kind of a weird timeline on this, but go ahead and say what you need to say, and then I'll kind of just speak my piece on the timeline issue here, just because there are some things here that feel a little set up.
I'm bothered because this was so lowbrow for Tucker. He was moving in a direction where he was, he had Andrew Tate on. He was doing Portnoy. He was interview after interview they were really solid interviews, and it really showed what his chops were. But this seemed so tabloid. It seemed so it just didn't seem like an interview that he would do at this point. It was, if you're looking to just Obama, you throw out something like that. And okay, that might have been the angle. But we also have to think about what else is happening in the background too. They're obviously propping up Michelle. They're getting Michelle ready to run in November.
Yeah,
I think we've established that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what better way? And I think there was even some weird rumors, and I can't substantiate a lot of that she was off in some. Was it Mexico that she was? Where was she? It was something like that, and she was visiting some friends and distraught because there was a scandal or something.
Yeah, I thought it was somewhere in Europe, like Spain or somewhere.
It might have been.
Anyway,
yeah,
yes, she was. There were pictures of her not looking great, right?
Not looking regal like she normally does.
Looking haggard. Yeah, looking haggard. Yeah.
And then on top of it, you've got the whole all of the strange evidence that she's a dude. I just don't know what to do with it. And I'm almost feel sorry that I even watched the interview because it didn't do it. It doesn't. I don't care if Barack Obama's gay. I care that he lied about it. Okay, if he is, I care that he wasn't forthcoming because at the time, right, when I voted for Obama at the time, I had no idea any of the other shit that was going on that would have caused me to not do it now. But at the time, I don't know that America was ready for that, but there's that's a champion for the gay community. And he's black on top of it.
And possibly, with that, the trans community, because if Michelle really is Michael, then you could have had that double whammy there be like, hey, not only did you elect your first black president, you elected your first openly gay president, and his first lady is trans. And because of the events, leading from 9/11, and here's the timeline that I'm kind of talking about.
Okay. Are we going tinfoil hat time? Because I'm ready to go tinfoil hat time.
I don't even know that this is tinfoil hat because I'm not going to say anything that isn't true. Okay.
Right.
Now,
well,
I'm gonna leave it
true.
Sometimes I do. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's conjecture, but I'm gonna leave this one up to our listeners, right? Okay. So you have Clinton, and Monica Lewinsky, and then of course all of the sympathy and everything went to Hillary Clinton. Okay.
Yep.
And then we just knew we needed something different than that. So who's different than that? Well, George Bush. Well, then 9/11 happens, and I'm not going to get into 9/11 and what I believe happened that day because it doesn't matter. The fact is 9/11 was the dominating factor to us going back into war, into Iraq, Kuwait. Well, we didn't really get into Kuwait, but Iraq and Afghanistan, weapons of mass destruction, that whole fiasco, the Mujahideen, the Taliban, all of it.
Right.
And so America's like, holy shit, we need something way different. And Obama came out and he said all the right things, right? I mean, he said, I don't want us in war there anymore. We're going to pull our troops out in X number of months. Also, I'm, going to fix all of the economy because remember 2008 and the housing crisis had hit. So I'm going to fix all these things. And he said everything that was what we wanted to hear. So I think a lot of us voted for Obama. And a lot of people that I know and respect and love voted for Obama. I chose not to vote that year because I couldn't endorse the Republican Party by any means. I hated them. But Obama to me just seemed like he wasn't the godsend that he was claiming to be. Well, he then continued basically every single, and you can go back and check me on this, but he basically continued every single policy that George Bush had put into place.
Correct.
He did nothing to cancel any of them out. We stayed in Afghanistan. He started the drone attacks on innocent people at weddings and fucking funerals. He authorized those things.
Yep.
He did a bunch of bad shit. He never did anything to improve any of the social programs here that he said he was going to do. So Obama was an excellent speaker that we could all get behind, but he basically did nothing. He was basically just another George W. who was in a different skin. That's it. Because he did nothing to discontinue any of the shit that George Bush did. So now here we are, and we have this scandal, this sex scandal against Obama, a beloved president, which remember Clinton was beloved at the time. And so where's all the sympathy going to go? To Michelle. Well, what do you know?
Yep.
Here she is out in Europe or Mexico, or wherever the fuck she is, looking distraught. And now it's rumored, there are several credible rumors that she is going to actually be, she's going to be the Democratic nominee for president because
November.
Biden's health is failing.
Yep.
And what do you know? She gets the sympathy vote of all these people who are like, oh my God, your husband was having gay sex with this Larry guy.
Yep.
That's the timing of all of this where it makes me, I do think Tucker did a great job with the interview, but it makes me wonder about his role
Yes.
In this machine? Is he just actually in a mouthpiece? We're all behind him because, yeah, he got away from Fox, but really, he's just breaking this story that needed to happen so that Michelle gets all the sympathy votes. That's where I'm very suspect, and maybe we're just too jaded, man. But I feel like our listeners are there with us.
Sense. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And not only does it not make any sense, it makes more sense if you put it on that timeline that I just laid out, where you're like, holy shit, maybe we are trying to garner as much, sympathy and respect for Michelle as we can so she can be the next Democratic nominee. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel different in 2 months, but right now that's where my head's at and I can't shake it.
I'm with you on that. And here's the other angle too, because this story will not go away. All right. Michael Obama. It will not go away.
No.
Now you couple that with this interview, obviously claiming that he is gay. We have done nothing but stoke the LGBTQ plus message. Not we, as in you and I, but as in a country.
Right.
It has been up everybody's, in everybody's face the last year and a half.
Up their anus.
I tried to stay away from that. Yeah, I tried not.
Well,
I tried to.
No, you just lob up the softballs, man. I'll hit them out.
Just
No, it's all good. I'll be the bad guy. It's good.
I wonder if that's the other angle of it, is that she does come out as trans, and maybe that ends up being part of the angle. That's the tinfoil hat part for me. I think you're probably more plausible because that makes sense, right? And it does follow it follows the playbook, right? It follows the playbook. Let's go ahead and make it a love story. Americans love that. We want to lap that shit up. I'm interested to see where this happens, but I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I am.
Dude, imagine if like Dean Koontz or who's the other, who wrote all of the some of All Fears and
Tom Clancy.
Yeah, Tom Clancy. Imagine if he wrote a novel where all of these events that we just laid out, they happen in his novel. It'd be a bestseller, dude.
Oh,
it would be
absolutely.
a best-selling book.
Absolutely.
It would make it in the New York Times bestseller list because it's a story that Americans can get behind. You have a person who married this other person in good faith and then found out that he was unfaithful, and they even went through this whole sex change surgery for them, and now we can get behind this person, and yet all the the waves that it causes in DC. That's where I put this, and I hope I'm wrong.
It's so tabloid. It's so Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is that we have such a low opinion of the United States as a whole.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah. 100%.
All right. One of the things we've got a lot more time left tonight, but I want to make sure we get to this Moose Lounge question, and this actually will move us into the China AI race.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is interesting. Very interesting. Listen closely. When was this interview?
This is a lecture from 19 years ago at the
so
U.S. Naval War College. And this is Thomas Barnett
Annapolis.
talking.
The creation of the Department of Homeland Security is another transformative event, but that's largely an inside job. We have to locate transformation within a global vision. We outspend the world on defense. We're spending over $450 billion a year. If all you really want to do is defend this country, I could do it for about $100 billion, I'm certain. So why are we spending $350 billion extra? I will argue we're conducting a transaction with the outside world. We're selling a product. And the world is buying that product when it buys our debt. Now, one definition of transformation is you have today's military capabilities, and what you're going to do is you're going to whack off what you don't need, about 5% a year, add on what you do need on the far end, and in 20 years, you've got a new military. But of course, direction's implied. You have to know tooth from tail. You have to have a definition of the future of war. I will tell you the dominant definition of the future of war inside the Pentagon today is the same one we've had for about 10 years.
So now this pauses 10 years. This was recorded in 2004. So 1994, that is 30 years that they've been planning this. Take a moment and let that sink in.
Yeah.
What we see happening with China and the USA is not by chance. This is the words that are popping up on this particular video.
It's China, Taiwan Straits, 2025.
So we've
The
heard
timing
the
on that's
2020
fucking creepy.
Well, it's 2025 has been talked about a great deal. We've even talked about it on the show.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
War is big business. We're dumping all of our armaments on Ukraine, right? We're sending all of our old shit over there. We're not sending any new shit. We're not giving them any of the good stuff. They're getting all the second gen stuff while we're working on fourth and fifth. Okay, so that's what this is. And it's it's money laundering and dumping ammo and dumping shit that we're not going to use in any other because it's obsolete.
Well, and it's also, in conjunction with all of that, it's its own brand of virtue signaling because
correct.
They're they're offloading all of their old, tech. Ooh, we sent them F-16s. F-16 was developed in the late 60s, man. So no, we're not arming them with the best, newest shit. In fact, if you watch the new Top Gun, I mean, it was very, very clearly illustrated in that movie that Maverick's character, Tom Cruise's character, was like, our third and fourth generation jets have no chance against the fifth gen stuff.
No.
So no, we're not giving them the good stuff. But then you have these. You make it a political issue. You create a social divide in the country where there's some people out there that, I mean, in my town today, driving around, I saw 3 Ukrainian flags still flying outside of houses. I mean, these people are, and so you're so bought into the narrative that you don't even realize you're part of the problem. So it's like this, I don't know, it's like 4 birds with one stone. You get all of these benefits by just creating this one conflict. And then allowing it. I mean, because even look at, they're using the conflict to take down Elon.
Yep.
They're capitalizing on every possible benefit they could get from this one little tiny fucking country in Eastern Europe that probably should just be, wiped off the map. Not the people, but the government for sure. It's just incredible.
We're at a point where it's manufactured disasters, right? I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yes,
it's just a manufactured disaster. That's all it is. We can go and further something. Why do people get behind Ukraine? Because, we have to hate the Russians. Well, I'm not real crazy about the Russians and how they handle things in their country. I wouldn't want to live there either. But if I were the Russians, I'd be pretty pissed off that that the West is doing the things that they're doing, and it's just a war by proxy. We've said this time and time again.
Oh, of course, and it's a war that in the end will be. I mean, the history books will be written by the winners. If Ukraine somehow, if we in Ukraine we somehow win this thing, Russia will be the bad guy in perpetuity. But if Russia wins, God, the way they're going to be able to write the narrative on the shit we've done, everything from the Nord Stream 2 pipeline to NATO aggression, all the way back from the late 90s into 2014 when we changed the regime in Ukraine. We are definitely the bad guys there. But no one wants to see that right now. It's the whole problem reaction solution. That's the paradigm. And so we're in the solution phase, and it's escalating to the point it's going to affect the everyday American citizen, the everyday citizen in any country, just the everyday guy trying to go to work and feed his family.
So let's get into the AI aspect of this. The 5th gen, the unmanned attack drones that they're talking about here. I thought this. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Reuters, but I thought this article was awesome.
I agree. This one actually surprised me that they were, because this article is kind of bold, and I would even argue we're getting into 6th gen stuff, because the 5th gen stuff still needed a pilot. The stuff they're talking about in this article, there's no human around. I mean, there's not even a human that has their hand on a cut switch. This is just, you program the thing, it goes and does the mission, and if anything in the mission gets wonky, it just adjusts on the fly because it's AI. I mean, this is some gnarly shit, man.
Australia, of all focuses, they are going to be adding a new force of 13 nuclear-powered attack submarines, which obviously to deal with the Chinese threat. Those are going to be about 18 billion apiece. They're also putting together.
Oh, God, did you say that with a B?
I did. $18 billion. Yeah. Now they won't be done until around 2050. Okay. If at the earliest. Now they're also out there buying an artificial intelligence built sub that's called the Ghost Shark. They're going to spend only $23 million on each of them. And they're going to have them delivered by mid-2025.
Yikes.
Now, this is a sub that is a nuclear sub. It is about the size of a bus, from my understanding. And, so they're going to have an unmanned submarine that can go ahead and, I mean, this is a big sub. This is not a small sub.
No.
So that was really, really interesting.
You know what's crazy to me is like in general, the shape of airplanes and just, figuring out aerodynamics and things. Airplanes haven't changed all that much in the last probably 50 to 60 years.
Right.
I mean, you got the F-16 and the F-15, which were kind of the most dominant planes on the battlefield, over the 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s. And even the stealth fighter jets that we have now and the 5th gen stuff, they have more controllable surfaces, but they kind of look like an F-15, basically. But these subs, they look exactly the same as they did back in World War II. Yeah. Exactly. They're just basically a cigar with a pointed end. Yep. And some flaps to make them move through the water, because I think hydrodynamics are just pretty consistent. You can't do much to change that. And there's a I don't remember the name of it's not a theory, it's like a law. It's not the law of hydrodynamics, but anyway, it's basically you can't make a seagoing vessel. It can only displace so much water. And if you displace more water than that, then you lose all efficiency. I mean, you're putting more power into it than you can make it move. And so, which is why, aircraft carriers get really big up at top, but the actual surface area that they're displacing down in the water is pretty small.
Right.
And so these subs can only get so big. And so it's just really intriguing to me to see that this is like a 5th gen sub, and it looks exactly like something you would have pulled out of World War II. I mean, exactly.
Yep.
But the tech is different, but it looks the same. It's just pretty crazy.
The Black Hornet 3 nano drone weighs less than 33 grams. And they're talking about being able to send a swarm of these things. For me, and I put this under the Patreon, I posted this to Patreon earlier. We're talking about something, and this wouldn't hit home for me. Yeah, you could send a not a hive.
Swarm.
A swarm.
Yeah.
Of these things, and their only task is to attack anybody that's between the ages of 12 and 60. Make sure they're all men, and wipe out anybody that you come across fitting those parameters.
Yeah.
You can wipe out 3 generations in a village or in a town.
Yeah, it's a flying hand grenade. basically. I mean, it's a controllable flying hand grenade that can release an amazing amount of shrapnel. And what's crazy is that little clip that you were showing just a second ago.
Yeah.
The guy has this like little fold out pouch that's on his molly, you know, the gear that, you know,
This
all
kit,
of the
yep.
the US servicemen can, it's completely customizable. You could have maybe 10 of these things per soldier. And he just folds this little flap down and out pops this little helicopter. He releases it. He's got a little remote control and off it goes. And so, like you're saying, I mean, a swarm. I mean, when you're talking about a swarm, you know, it's not the first or the second hornet that's the problem. It's the nest that's the problem.
Right.
I mean, you get stung by one of these things, no big deal. Well, it hurts, but you're just pissed. You get stung by 10, now you're in a fight or flight. You get stung by 100, you're possibly dead. Well, they've upped that concept to basically, if this thing flies in a room and detonates, everything in the room is if not dead,
toast.
it's maimed. Yeah, it's toast.
Yeah, it's a 1-to-1. I mean, it can kill 1-to-1. That's what we're
Jesus.
talking about. And I love that Reuters did this. I mean, they just, here you go.
Yeah,
this is what we're looking at.
And I mean, they're even saying here cheap and expendable. I mean, each of these things is like what, a couple $100, and you can guarantee a kill. You know, how much is ammo? You could fire off 1,000 rounds in a gunfight, never hit anybody because they're behind bunkers. But this thing, it's a 1-to-1 guaranteed kill.
Palmer Luckey, designer of the Oculus virtual reality headset, now owned by Facebook.
Jesus.
He's now.
Here we go. Keep going.
He sold it for, we know this, he sold it for $2.3 billion in 2014. He's the engineer working on the Ghost Shark for Australia.
And there it is. Yeah.
And he's also Androl, the company that he works for, is supplying the equipment to Ukraine. So as soon as the Russians figure out how to deal with the drone as is, they just throw in an update and just send it on its way. They can't deal with this then. It really is fascinating. I mean, it's scary as fuck.
Yeah, it is. And here they show this little drone coming up to a ship. That's the other thing is that, you know, you got what 200 sailors on this boat, and then they send this little drone in and it blows a hole in the side of the boat. Maybe you kill 5 guys, but all 200 sailors are now doing their best to catch ship afloat. They're not fighting a war anymore. They're not firing weapons anymore.
No.
They are preoccupied with their own lives. So you took out an entire ship and 200 soldiers. Gone. They're out.
Yep.
They're not dead, but they're not fighting anymore.
No.
Yeah. I mean, the cost-benefit ratio shit is just insane.
Yeah. So now, when you go back and you look at, well, we're not getting as many soldiers as we used to get, right? Well, do we need it?
That's true, too. Is that a problem? Because we have this. Yeah.
FA, welcome back.
Yes,
man.
sir. How we doing?
Yeah, welcome back.
Good, man. Are you driving right now?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting here.
It sound like you're driving. All right.
Oh, no.
So we were just talking about AI and all of the neat, cool robots that are going to kill us in the future.
It's so scary to think about. If we win that race with China, will we survive or will they just kill us too?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I think personally, there's always that, and I say nuclear option. It doesn't even have to be nuclear, but there's always like that option where you get to the point where you know you're going to lose anyway, so you might as well take out the other guy.
Yeah.
And they mask that under the quote unquote nuclear deterrent.
Mutual assured destruction.
It's exactly what it is. It's the MAD, the mutual assured destruction, and so I I know that's already in place for countries like Russia, China, India, probably the UK. I mean, they're a nuclear power. France, the US for sure. Japan, probably. South Korea, I don't know. North Korea, we got to get to that story because North Korea just rolled out their unbelievably badass new military equipment, which I am actually, I mean,
in awe of.
If I could piss my pants right now, I would, because it's so scary. But anyway, I think there are those fail safes in place for all of the nuclear powers where, okay, we're fucked anyway. Just launch the nukes. Just launch every drone we have, put them on a self-destruct mode, and have them kill as many as they can.
Well, if they send if we send the robots over to China, if we win the little AI race, will it kill? Like, what if there's Americans visiting China at the time? Will they be okay? But I mean, the robot's going to be that smart to be like, nope, this guy's cool.
I mean, that's a great question. I don't know where that tech is at. I don't know if you could say, hey, here are the physical characteristics of the people we want you to kill. Well, and then leave everybody else alone. Like, McShane said earlier, you could set these things to kill all the males in a village. I mean, you can have I've seen some pretty butch ladies.
Maybe it's best to be trans.
I can go either way, bitches.
No.
Can't catch me.
That's a great point. Great point, McShane.
So you brought this up earlier with the global military info. This is a Twitter you guys can follow.
Oh, God.
So the North Korea is getting tricky. They're sticking rocket launchers on the back of basically John Deere's.
Yeah,
and
they have John Deere tractors.
Semis.
and yes, and delivery trucks. And they are militarizing them. And you know what's crazy is like, okay, I can see if like, hey, we're going to use every available piece of equipment possible. Like Dunkirk, but they used every fishing boat, every seaworthy vessel was used to evacuate these troops. This is different. They're actually putting this on a military parade. They have taken these John Deere tractors, painted them blue, like military North Korea blue, put some flags on them, and then have them going missile. And then, awesome. This is in front of the president. I mean, this is look at these jackoffs with all their military medals. North Korea hasn't fought a war since the mid 50s. None of these guys have done shit for any one of those medals. Nothing. But their entire front is covered in medals. Like, who are you? How many people have you actually killed?
It's Banana Republic shit, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. That's what they are.
No, my favorite is this delivery truck here with it has like these missile launchers coming out the top. It literally looks like someone took a hacksaw and just cut a hole out the top of the truck.
Yeah, exactly.
And then had these missiles stick out the top. It's so great. It's like you know what it is? It's Knight Rider shit. Remember when like the Knight Rider truck would all of a sudden bust out with these weird rockets out the top? Yes. That's what it looks like.
Oh, God.
Good God.
So, Hefe, are you going to strap a rocket launcher to your car? Because you can be part of the army at that point.
Part of that army?
No, you can be.
Yeah.
No, because
you have to move to North Korea.
Well, I don't know. Because let's fast forward like 20 years. Arizona and Texas and New Mexico are their own thing.
Some of the pictures people put up is just fucking awesome.
They're such a joke. We've got an outhouse on it's painted
Moped.
Z for the Ukraine army.
Oh, shit.
The internet always
That's
wins.
really funny. Oh, always. That's so good. So wait, are you, McShane, are you saying we're going Mad Max level here?
I say we might as well. Let's just, I'll take my Pilot. I'll throw, some really heavy steel on the front of it. We're not going to worry about, gas at that point. There's not going to be much, but, we'll fight over it. I'm okay with impaling some people on the front of my car if I have to.
Yeah. I would say I'm there with you. I mean, of course, like in the name of Whiskey Hell, like I'm not just doing it just to kill people. Like we have a purpose. We're going to rebuild society in the name of Whiskey Hell. And so, yeah, I'm going to impale some motherfuckers.
That's right.
Like it.
Oh, God. That's just so good. I
want to see Amazon trucks with rocket launchers on them and machine guns. That's all I want. I need to see that.
You know what? I watched Ready Player One, and in that movie, one of the heroes of that movie is the futuristic UPS delivery truck. And that's what I was thinking, how could you trick that thing out? Like, there's a lot of room to put. You could have a side gunner, like they used to have on the old Hueys back in Vietnam with the minigun. You could have that. You could have a gunner out the back. You could definitely have a turret on the roof. And then you could just Mad Max the shit out of the front of those things. They already look mean. You know, they're already like these big flat boxes driving down the road just looking to eat something. So you could really trick that thing out.
I agree. All right, Hefe, we're about to wrap things up here. What's the night been like at the end here for you?
It's gotten better. Had a couple good tables. So
good.
It's nice. It's nice you had some lady folk come out and visit you. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, that was a nice treat.
Yeah.
For them to drive all the way out here.
Yeah, exactly. That's nice.
So, what do you guys think they're doing for the rest of the night? Do you guys think are they hitting like an all-male review? Are they going to Ernie's on Shea and Scottsdale Road to pick up some gentlemen? Like some 60-year-olds? What?
They were talking about maybe going to get tattoos.
Oh, okay. Nothing like a midnight tattoo.
Yeah, right? So, other than that, I'm not sure what those two got planned. You never know. A couple of wild women.
Well, here's the thing, ladies. Pictures or it didn't happen. All right? That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Elle in chat just said they might be taking pictures. So I'm guessing that Hefe is going to get a collage of questionable photos later.
All right. Well, I mean, happy birthday, Hefe, you know?
Happy birthday, Hefe. Fitz, what beer are you taking to bed?
You know, actually, I'm going to surprise myself with this one. I'm taking the pineapple upside down cake, even though it kind of missed the mark as far as the flavor they were going for. It was really a delicious beer, start to finish, and that's really the separation. My first beer started great. It just got too much by the end, and I didn't. The last two gulps, honestly, I didn't even want to drink. I was over it. This one, however, was a great balance between sweet and sour. I probably, if I had another can of this out in the fridge, I'd probably drink it back to back. It's really, really good. Great, well-balanced beer, great flavor, just nice texture, just a great beer. And it's only a 7%er, so you could just, do these all night. But anyway, I'm gonna be having sex with the pineapple upside down cake, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's that nice hole in the middle.
Yeah,
could be
fun later.
Be some fun. Yeah, could be some fun. So anyway, what about you? What are you doing?
No mame, the dark no mames. This is dark lager from Tripping Animals. It had all those malty qualities that I like that goes along with a good. It just wasn't as hoppy as a dark IPA, which I loved. So I mean, if I would go back, that's the one I would get a 4-pack of. That would be even that's a pool beer, that's a summer beer, a lot of flavor, very fun. That's the one I would take.
Love it. Hefe, what about you? What are you taking to bed tonight for your birthday?
Hefe's muted again. He's gonna have to unmute.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess we get to tell him what he's taking to bed.
There
which is a dirty blonde.
Oh.
And a dark brown and a Mexican lager. Taking all three to bed. He's going to have
Perfect.
a foursome tonight, and it's
Good
going to
for
be a
him.
really good night for Hefe.
Happy birthday, Hefe. Congratulations
Yep,
on
happy
your
birthday, man.
30th birthday. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. We love every one of you.
We'll talk to you soon.